Sorry, but just going back to part two, as I said, the reason, the way I'm reasoning, because I'm being manipulated by these perps, is ways that I will never. I'm so manipulated that logicalness has been just been rewired to. And I was saying, the way they try to make me accept of these things is just come from the most stupidity. Let me just say again, as I was saying in the first part, I was in communication with somebody based in another state doing real estate. She was a perp. I knew she was a perp, but because I do enjoy interacting with women, even though I know they're perps, I continue to interact with her, knowing that she's a perp, understanding that she's a perp. And she was telling me she's a real estate and she works somewhere else. It's disgusting trash. Excuse me, because my thought process of being manipulated. And this woman who works in that state doing real estate told me that she is planning on coming to New York City, and actually her goal is to move fully in the city. But she came up, she started telling me, later on, it actually looks like, my move here might not even happen because of what's happening with the tariffs, the politics and everything with tariffs, that it will impact her, real estate. And now, I don't know much about real estate. That's not the field I'm in. And I know she's a perp, so I'm like, is she just saying that just to say something because she's not interested, by the way? And a lot of the cases is that they just talk to me because I'm a target visual and they're perps, right? And they won't be involved in this fashion. So it's like, is she just saying that because she just for other reason or other purposes? I didn't know. And I asked, and I sent her a message back saying I didn't know that real estate was going to be impacted by the tariffs, right? Because I don't know exactly. And so they're using that as like, you see that they know that, right? And because of course tariffs are going to impact everything in regard of like, people will not want to buy because they're not secure. They don't know if they want to invest right now because of the tariffs, right? Me not being aware of this, like the realm they're in regard of like real estates. Like, you see, you didn't know that, so we're not manipulating your brain to have these degrading things because you don't know that, or because you thought that she was just saying that just because she's a perp and this and that. Like trash. I don't know this agenda of these people I'm talking to, and I don't trust them. A lot of them are perps, but I know what's happening to me, and I know I'm being manipulated to make me think in this way. It's validating to them that I'm not being manipulated. Just show how my brain has been just rewired in retardation, and then we hear this trash. Now let me just say how retarded this fucking retarded. Excuse my language. Let me just speak about how these clowns who are contracted by these governmental entities to make you accept these things. They tell me they're framing me with children. There's children pretending they get raped. Okay? This trash want me to think that I'm not being manipulated. That the trash pretending they get raped. And also tell me that we're not manipulating your brain to have these disgusting experiences, but we're just mining your brain. And they're like, we're bait. They're not bait, they are trash. Nobody wants these fucking retard kids. Excuse my language. These kids are pretending to get raped. They're not, even the language they're using, it's bait. They're bait. They're not bait. They know if they come near me, I'll slap them. Excuse my language. They know their life will be in danger, even just by trying to interact with me in this way. They're not bait. They're just children pretending to get raped. And if we do get to interact and they think that I'm gonna flirt with them, I will slap them. I will smack them. I will embarrass them. In my brain, they tried to create a mental battle with somebody asked about what time this thing was closing, and she was smiling back and saying in a smiley face. I'm like, I'll show you who I'm talking about. But this trash here, these little neighbors, as I met the father again, this is an older man. I don't know if he's the grandfather, I don't know if he's an uncle, I know he's a related adult, grown man in his 60s plus. In his household, I could always hear children. To see a grown man like that, he walked by me, it's like we framed, just like trash. Well, that's what trash do. Go train your children, all these children, to pretend they get raped. Pretend that this is fierce. This low life was so disgusting to me, because I know how cowardly they are. How they are unable to say the name of a man, and nasty. But let me go back to this, because of this thing about real estate and how like the actually the real estate is gonna go up, or there's gonna be a problem there, obviously. Now, this is not my field, I don't know much about that, but I see how this can be connected, how this can be impacted. But this is politics of that nature. So like you see, we didn't lie about that, so we're not manipulating you. It's so disgusting. And they're like, no, we just know you, we just bring. Now, what the manipulations are, they are known to do this thing called pedophilia type of torture. Yes, the people that you hear me say that they're gonna frame me with children have these tendencies to torment our individual using pedophilia. They rewire the brain. They alter the brain. And they alter the brain in degrading ways. They do that because they've weaponized this technology. By forcing you to have this pedophilia type of torture, it breaks you down psychologically. One thing you're gonna hear a lot is the things they do. I will never allow this trash live this fantasy. You hear this, I put that in their faces, I make them eat that all the time. For me, they make me have these disgusting stimulations, and they play in my brain. And I know everybody watching with the noise campaign, they do all of that is just to make me feel like I should be nervous, because they saw what I just experienced. But they also saw that I've been experiencing that because I'm manipulated. What they observed is what my brain can be manipulated, and they know that very well. Their job is to make me think I'm not being manipulated. So now they try to use ways of rationalizing that. It's like, no, actually there's something there, and what we're doing is like, there's something that you're manipulating me for me to experience that. You have to manipulate my brain these ways, and it's not because you're doing some research to figure who I am. You're trying to figure out how to change me and make me acceptive of these pedophilia things that you do to others. And so for me, it's been a way to just put things together. So in some cases, like, okay, what you did as a child, remember when in middle school you did this thing, and I always bring in my videos, you will always hear me bring that up. Because for this purpose, we manipulate the brain these ways to make you accepting of the current experiences toward these babies that they forced me to have, this little girl specifically. They try to make me think it's me when I was a child. There's people who do the pedophilia type of torture who happen to work for governmental entities with a lot of problem with pedophilia. So it's funny, sometimes they call me, oh, you're a pedophile. No. First of all, you have to manipulate my brain to become this thing that you want me to be, but you actually work for your pedophiles, you sad piece of shit, because the entities running this program, like I said, this is a government-led program. The facade of this clown shit I see around me are just a facade. They try to play the fierce femme fatale, they try to play, but they're just trash contracted by these governmental entities that happen to have a lot of problem with pedophilia. They've been ranked for top-tier child porn trafficking in the United States. And I love the fact that I put that in their faces, and they're like, now we are some feminist group of bad, like this stupidity. And the rage that they have, this piece of shit. I heard somebody say, you molest, this trash involved in the program that torture children sexually. Sexual torture is commonly utilized onto children as young as 3 years old. Let me repeat that actually better. Sexual torture is common. This is also applied onto children. They harm kids using this technology and harm them sexually. And the entities developing this technology are not this retard living next to you. They're just the participant in that. The government is running this. These trash are just intoxicated, participating in that, intoxicated by the fact they can involve themselves in that. And so they live in this deluded, they create this theatric. For me, now the theatric are going to be torture. And they're going to torture me because they're going to have children pretend they get raped. And the entities running this program, like I said, in 2018, were ranked for top tier child porn trafficking in the United States. In 2019, a bill called End National Defense Network Abuse Act was created, introduced, because there were so many DOD employees that were in child porn. They're nasty. I just heard some trash say, our kiss. You know what they try to bring up? Me as a child and try to exaggerate what didn't happen. But what they forget is that I know they torture children sexually. So as they say, their case, I say, their sexual torture. This is what they do to children, this low life. And the rage that they have is the rage of people involved in a program that kill children, torture them sexually, and wants to live a deluded reality while I let them live the fantasy where they protect children. This trash known to be doing the pedophilia type of torture. And how they want me to look at them is this positive way. It's like, yeah, no, but you know the real estate thing, you see, what does he have to do with me, you dumb fuck? There's a lot of things I don't know about real estate and everything else. This is not the field I'm in. I know this person's a perp, so I know there's another agenda. That's it. What she knows if why real estate is happening in real estate or not doesn't matter to me. I'm not in that. Do you understand this trash? Now, they do this pedophilia type of torture. I was out yesterday and they were like, oh, you like little girls, because they do that to the little babies, the little tiny girls, from the little toddlers to babies. Let me repeat that, from the little toddlers to babies. And then when I say little toddlers, like, oh, they stimulate me. Like, no, we mapped that to you when you were a kid. No, they're forcing me to have these experiences and try to use my childhood as a way to make me acceptive of this current manipulation of the rewire my brain. It's clear altering on my mind. They want me to let them live the fantasy because that disgusting sexual stimulation they make me have is degrading and disgusting, and to try to make me feel like it's something I felt like as a kid. I will never identify with that. A grown man just try to make somebody believe in their grown adult age to be like, nah, you felt like that when you were a kid, you disgusting retard. And it's not even true. You just falsify that and you concoct your own sexual stimulation that you want me to identify to my childhood. Do you understand this trash? So I'm in places like I little girl, and I look at this like, you torture little girls, you piece of shit. Make yourself laugh and within your tribe. Talk about something else. Oh, by the way, I heard somebody say, ha ha. Hey, ha ha ha. Unbelievable amount of child porn trafficking by the Department of Defense. I say that specifically because when I was in high school, I heard a joke in the cafeteria when I was 16, 17 years old. That I used to insult, and they're like, oh, that's really funny. Trash ass. You understand the freaking retard we're dealing with? As a target individual, we deal with people who have no self-respect. So wherever I end up and I see these people saying, little girls, you torture little girls with fucking trash, and say ha when I bring up what you guys do to little kids. And on top of that, what's so funny about this is like, you guys actually working for governmental. This is what pedophilia has been a long-running problem, a consistent, unbelievable, top-tier problem. These are the entities running this. You think I think some fierce group of with your money, like the stupidity. To think that I will not think it's this massive government doing that, but it's you guys in your network, the delusionality. You're the same people who do that to a woman, to a child. Yeah, you're the people from all walks of life participate in the program. I get it. Now, manipulation, degrading. Let me just say that there's somebody say that they're kids because they want me to think that they're going to force me sexual stimulation, make me think of me as a kid. That's why they say they're kids. But listen, first of all, I go to places like this, right? So I went out, especially that woman in white over there. She starts saying, I love tiny little girls like trash. You torture tiny little girls and you force people to have this sexual stimulation. Say your case, you try to make me think of me as a kid, and you're You fabricated things. You torture children. Your tortures of children, sexual torture children, and you manipulate the brain. I'm a grown man. You think people who do the pedophilia type of torture are going to convince me I'm not being manipulated in this way? That I'm being minded to me as a kid, whatever that retardation means. And places like that. And they say this little girl, I was like, yeah, you torture little girls, you piece of trash. And say your kids to try to make me think of me as a kid. You just know that I know you sexually torture children. And when you stimulate me this way, you think I'm going to ever be, oh no, you know what? In 8th grade, he's honking. It makes sense. An adult in their 30s should have feelings they felt when you were in middle school. It's stupidity. I'm a grown man and I know who I am. And people like that involved in a program where they clearly do the pedophilia type of torture and they torture children sexually will never make me identify to their manipulation. No matter what you look like, no matter how you present it, no matter what, never. I know very, 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 and I'm very comfortable who I am, from the good and the bad. I saw this baby here. And I think the baby has an earring. Ew, this stimulated me. Because they did this thing with my brain with earrings that changed it into something else. I used to have like phobia because I always imagine like swallowing and throwing up or something like that. And so they stimulated me. And before seeing this baby, they were making me think of a woman. They have these ways of just playing with the brain. They start making you have like thoughts of sexual interaction with women you've been with, and they try to change into something else. Stimulate you. As they stimulate you, they know that you're gonna click on a story on Instagram somewhere where there's a child. They play with your libido. Man, this couple of days have been bad. They've been playing with my libido so intensely. And I wish I could just take something to just kill it. Because it's just so degrading. Let me see if I have more pictures. But yeah, so so they do this degrading experience of my libido. And it's intense. They're rewired. But I was in places like that. And you saw my previous video where everybody around you, they even have kids like 10-year-old, 8-year-old in places where it's like way past 11 p.m. blasting music where there's mostly adults should be it's like an adult environment, but at least not a 10-year-old should not even be there. At 11, almost like early 11 o'clock, almost 11. I think they left at 11:30 p.m. in that place that you saw. This is the trash in my brain. And then try to reason with me their retardations, like, nah, the real said they did go up because I was like, what the? Now, reality is this. This is part of these nasty things they do, and I always put that in their faces. They try to stimulate me here. Let me show you where they try to stimulate me. Oh, I didn't even see it. Okay. It wasn't there. Okay. I thought it was something else. They always do mess with me, but this is the reality that I